What's up, YouTube? Hello to my 10,000 new friends. What the heck? I am so unbelievably excited. This is just wild. Super wild. My name is Cass, or Cass Brat Art. You can also just call me Cassie. That's my real name. I thought I would do this video as a Q&A. I reached out to all my new besties on here and basically just surveyed, asked you guys if you have any questions that I can answer. And I got a whole bunch of questions, both from my YouTube channel and also from Instagram. So I'm gonna try and do my best to get through quite a few of those today. I do think I'm going to turn this into a bit of a series just because there's been so many questions and lots of topics that I really feel like I can expand on, and that I'm quite excited and passionate about. So without further ado, let's just kick things off. So yeah, my name is Cass. I am Canadian. I live in Calgary, Alberta. If you haven't heard from it, it's very cold here in the wintertime. I grew up, I honestly didn't really paint or do a ton of art. I was always super creative as a child, but I grew up playing sports. I grew up ski racing, and then I played soccer for my university. So that was kind of my main focus while I was growing up. And then things obviously shifted after university, and a few things that I'll touch on when I get to these questions that kind of led to where I am now. But that was one of the big questions I got, is when did I start painting, or when did I start drawing? So I am not professionally trained as an artist in really any way, shape, or form. Just a little tiny bit. I'm a businesswoman. I took my undergrad in business management. I was playing soccer at the time, and this was kind of the beginning of my art journey. I had bought one of those adult coloring books. I don't know if you guys remember those, or if you know what that is, if that's even a thing anymore. But I was doing it every night before bed. It was literally just a therapy, stress relief kind of thing. I got through the entire book, and then on the last page, there was a fill in the blank. It was this super cute elephant. I wish I still had this book. It was this cute little elephant, and it was fill in your own design. So I bought some pens, and I did my own detailing, pen sketchwork kind of stuff. And I finished it, and I was that's pretty good. Coloring had become such a I don't want to say big part of my life, but it was part of my routine, my nightly routine. I was just doing it every night before bed. So at the end of that, I did the elephant. It turned out pretty cute. And I ended up buying a sketchbook and some pens, and I'll try and as I'm speaking, bring up some of my old work on the screen here so you guys can see. But yeah, I did really simple line work, sketches, and then it ended up kind of turning into more watercolor stuff. I bought some watercolor paints and did a little bit of stuff with that. And yeah, this was all just I literally would find stuff on Pinterest and be I want to recreate that, or find stuff that inspired me, or 3 different pieces on Pinterest that I was I like this out of that, I like that out of that, and this here, and I would kind of make my own thing. So that's honestly kind of how my creative or artistic career maybe started. And I was doing it so much that I just decided have always been obsessed with social media. So I started my own Instagram account for it. At that time, it was called Crafternoons with Cass. I was painting these cute little watercolors. Some people were asking me to paint stuff for them, or do cards, or I would always make really cute cards for my friends for their birthdays and stuff like that. It was super simple, super Pinteresty kind of stuff. I was gearing up my last year of business school, and my last year I decided not to play soccer, and I did an exchange program where I got to go live in Sydney, Australia for for one semester, which was an unbelievable experience. I only had like 3 courses that I needed to take when I went to Australia. So I pretty much just like learned how to surf, was living on the beach. I was taking 1 business class, and then my other 2 classes were just filler classes. So I decided to take a painting class and a drawing class, which were like, so that is the only professional training I've had as an artist ever. I learned so much in this like 1 painting class, and I kick myself now and I'm like, I would love to go to art school. Like I would thrive. Like I would love that. It's just, it doesn't quite make sense to me now. I think maybe in the future, we'll see. So that kind of wraps up like the only real like professional training that I had as an artist. And then from there, after Australia, I pretty much just wanted to travel, just wanted to like find myself on a beach in Thailand, you know? Did a whole bunch of traveling. I spent like 3 months in Southeast Asia. I spent a lot of time in New Zealand, and then COVID happened, and my mom was on the phone being like, the world is ending, you need to come home. All of a sudden, like we got the first few cases and the whole like New Zealand was just shutting down. Jacinda, shout out to Jacinda, she handled it like a queen as per usual. But yeah, basically I lost my job. I was just serving, living my best life. And all the restaurants shut down, and there was this big announcement that everything was going to be shut down for like anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks. And, you know, I was in a position where I was basically like looking at my bank account saying, okay, I have enough to pay rent for the next 4 to 8 weeks, or I have enough to buy a flight home. I got on a plane home, moved into my mom's basement, love it. But to be honest, like, I'm such a believer in the universe. I know that's like such a hippie artist thing for me to say, but I truly believe like the world just puts you exactly where you're supposed to be. And at that time in my life, that is exactly where I needed to be, just living in my mom's basement. I kind of like cracked the whip a little bit, and the business girl came back inside of me and was like, okay, you need to get a real job. But it was hard during COVID because all these companies obviously were struggling so much, and it didn't feel like a lot of people were hiring. And so I applied for this social media agency. It was something like over 300 applicants or 200 applicants or something like that. And I got the job, and I was like, me? Okay. Are we sure? It didn't end on the best terms, but you know what? I have nothing bad to say. It was a great experience for me. I learned so much. I basically just like absorbed as much as I could. And, you know, I really wasn't doing art at all. I was like, had just gotten home. I was trying to get my feet back on the ground. And I moved into this 2-bedroom apartment. And then, you know, COVID was really bad, and I was putting pretty much everything I had into this job. And that was kind of when I picked up a paintbrush again. At that point, everything that I was learning from this social media agency, I was able to apply to my art. I have no idea what inspired the nudes. In some of my past work, I worked a lot with nudie women. I don't know why. Back to like how I feel about the universe and how I feel like it just like, you just do things. And you know, at the time when I was doing those little sketches, I had absolutely zero intentions of becoming an artist. Yeah, I don't know. I just painted my first nude. So this was the first nude, and people loved it. I got a ton of really good feedback. I was like, hey, people love this. Like, what's the next one I wanted? And as soon as I did that first painting, I had that like hunger just to create. Like I just wanted to create. So I did my second nudie, which is like still one of my all-time favorites. You know, after those 2 paintings, people were like, oh, Cassie paints nudes. And I was like, hell yeah, I paint nudes. After I had done the first, you know, 3 or 4, I was like, okay, this is awesome, but I am tired of painting like porn star bodies. That's the only way I can describe it. It was like, if you Google, because that's where I was getting my reference images from. It was like, Google nudes, like what female, woman nudes. And so you can imagine the pictures I was scrolling through to try and find like a reference photo to paint. So at this time, I had about 1,000 followers on Instagram, and I just reached out to I put on my story, I think, or a post about it, and I just said, if you want to, send me your nudes. Like starting to clue into like the body positivity and the female empowerment and the self-love, seeing your body as a work of art. I think that's just like such a beautiful, cool, and powerful thing that I wanted to give to people. People were more than willing to send me their naked bods. Like I was just getting a ton of DMs, which is so funny because it was like those early stages was really like friends and family that I had. But this one call for nudes got like crazy. It got sent around a whole bunch. And so then I was starting to reach people that was like outside of my community, and people were so fired up about it. Like it was mind-blowing how willing people were to just send me images of themselves. It just felt more authentic that I was painting like real humans, like real women. Fast forward a whole bunch, I was balancing my social media agency job and my art, and art was going really well, and it was kind of to the point where I, was pretty over this company that I was working for, and really was excited about the work that I was doing with my art. I could support myself. Like I could pay my rent and I could feed myself if I quit my agency job. And, let's just see what happens when I put 100% of my effort into my art and into my own social media. And that was literally the best decision I think I have ever made in my entire life. It has just been like the most rewarding experience ever. I would not change it for the world. I had a lot more of time and energy to put into my art, and that's when like I really started to reap the rewards. I started my TikTok account, which blew up like during November, I think. So and at that point I had been painting nudes for about 1 year. So I was like 1 year painting nudes, and then my TikTok account finally blew up and I had an insane amount of commissions come through. It was so amazing. And my life has been different ever since, basically. Whew. Okay, I just babbled for like 20 minutes there. So how long have you been drawing, and what made you want to start drawing body positive art? That's an interesting one. So now how long I've been drawing. My intentions at the beginning were not to get into this body positive space. I think I honestly felt a little bit awkward when I first, you put yourself on social media and everyone has their own perception, everyone has something to say. And for me, it was like empowerment and self-love. It was interpreted as, body positivity, which is amazing. And I love that I do have that impact on most of the clients that I work for. What motivated you to start painting women to represent their bodies as art like this? Was it from seeing other people around you struggling, or was it more of a personal thing? Yeah, so that's an interesting question as well. Like I said, it was more just self-love, and I have a weird answer for this. Like it doesn't come from a negative space for me. And I think that's why it's allowed me to have such an impact on people, is because like I truly believe that naked bodies are beautiful, and I really don't think it matters your shape or size. Overall, I've always had a pretty positive relationship with myself and with my body. And I realize, I think especially working in this field, how fortunate I am to have had that experience. And I know that it's not common. And so I think, that's part of why the universe has given me this opportunity to help other women feel the same way that I feel about my body and about myself. Does that make sense? Cute. I am running out of time a little bit here. I feel like I have given you pretty much my whole background. I have a ton more questions here to answer from you guys though. And if you have any extra questions, please just drop them in my comments. I'm more than happy to answer them. I think I'm just gonna make this into a series and try and answer as many questions as I can as possible. I'm gonna be going over the process of my art and how that works and what my work looks like with clients. I'm gonna be going over some marketing stuff too, which my business girl is so excited about. So happy to talk about that kind of stuff. And social media, like algorithms and growth and what you need to be doing, where you need to be posting, strategies behind these platforms. I am so excited to talk about all these things with you. So if you stayed for my full first video, thank you so much. I am so excited. I can't believe I have 10,000. You guys, it's been like 1 week. So yeah, I love you. I truly, truly love you. And I'm so thankful for every single person who follows me and supports me on this journey of this is what I truly, truly, truly love to do. And I hope that you can see that. I hope that my energy is just coming through your computer screen and you can understand how much I love what I'm doing. So thank you truly so much for watching, for following along. Peace, love, nudies. Mwah. Bye.